Welcome my dear super engineers, and now we are going to see what is the BIOS. So BIOS is having a full form, obviously, that is the basic input and output system. So that's what the meaning of the BIOS is, basic input and output system. Now let's understand this. What can BIOS actually be? Now let's use our engineer's brain. So get ready my engineer. So what it actually means? It actually meant with the set of instructions which is responsible for booting a system, or in our case a computer. So set of instruction that boots a system. It performs all the needed tests during the startup time. It works during the startup. What kind of the startup? Startup of our computer. So whenever you switch it on, you must have seen that it takes a little bit duration to actually start. That is the loading time of the operating system in our main memory. And during that time, the BIOS actually check all the things which is required for our machine to run. Understand it in this way. Computer is not just a single machine or the machine that was invented by just the Charles Babbage. Yes, he was called the father of the computer, but in between there are so many things, so many revolutions I have gone through. We have lived the century. So what it actually do? It is the set of electronic components, so many set of electronic components which is there, and that is going to be our motherboard and all the kind of systems and chips and all that kind of things. So what it actually do? It actually together builds a computer. So we are not talking about a very traditional computer, we are talking about the computer of today. So we must have to understand that there is so much of the complexity. Just the chip that we talk about is so much in its own that it takes so much time, that we call the IC. It takes so much time to develop, and we are still trying to develop it to the very next level. And this is what actually instruct the hardware and software revolution. This is responsible for the revolution in one of the important aspect. So they collectively called as the post or power on self test. So what the BIOS actually do? It actually post, POST, which means power on and off. So power on self test, not the off technically, because it was off, that's why we are owning it. So it tests the system, the basic system. That is collectively meaning of the BIOS. And now we are going to see what is UEFI. So UEFI is the modern replacement of the traditional BIOS. Let me give you the full form first, so that we know at least its full name. We cannot call it by its nickname. So it's Unified Extended Firmware Interface. firmware interface. Let me tell you that it's the chip, and the previous one that we have seen is also about the chip. Chip is the integrated circuit. Okay, so this is the UEFI. Now what it actually is, it is the modern replacement. It's modern replacement of BIOS. Well, BIOS was used in initial days and even to these days, but UEFI is the modern replacement of it. It's extended firmware. The firmware, as we have studied, it's the operational program. So the program must have been developed throughout the years. The motherboard, the computer, the hardware, the software must developed throughout the time. They have time tested and they are continuously being developed. That is the thing. So in which sense we are calling it modern? It is automated. It is automated software by first turning computer. Let me write everything and then we can understand it. By first turning computer or our machine, providing the functions FUNCT, I am writing it in short form, needed to install operating system, and hardware components. So this is the UEFI, Unified Extended Firmware Interface chip. You might be thinking that I can write these things in the PowerPoint presentation itself and then I can explain it. It might save our time. But my friend, you are a little wrong here. I am writing the most important stuff so that you can feel that we are learning together, and not just for the feeling but to think that what can it be. That is your job when I am writing up the things. Okay, with all that said, let's understand that what is UEFI. So as we have discussed, it is a modern replacement of the BIOS. What BIOS actually do? It tests the basic input output post that we have studied. So the process is automated. Well, BIOS was already automated, yes, but this process is automated means it is a set of the advanced instruction format for the advanced hardware and software operations. Now I think you understand that what is the slight difference, and if you are able to relate it with BIOS and you are not finding much difference, that is because it works all the way as the BIOS do, and it is having advancement of what BIOS actually do. Like when we upgrade our smartphone or we update our software, what actually happens? It does not mean that updating a software or updating something, like let's say I have updated my camera, so it will not going to forget the older functions, but it will going to enhance the older function and maybe add some new features to it. That is what is called the modern replacement of the BIOS. So the word replacement is carefully using here. It is not like we are a generation of the vacuum tube and shifted to the transistor. It's about the transistor and then integrated circuit combine the transistor, then millions of transistor, and today billions, even tens of the millions, I can say for safe reason, that much transistor. So it's all about the transistor that we are developing. It's not about a complete kind of the revolution. So the transistor was more important, and the vacuum tube was actually the earlier version, and rest of the ICs are the technological advancement, not the scientific advancement, we can say. So that is what is meaning with the UEFI, replacement of the BIOS. I hope you have got a good idea about that. Now we can proceed to the next level and our final thing. Let's see that how much we have actually completed in this. So here we are. We have completed our BIOS, we have completed our translator, operating system, device driver, firmware, and now we have to do our utilities. So let's mark it up also. Now we are going to work the utilities out.